The winners of the 2022-2023 Ocean Race 11-hour racing
Welcome to the Ocean Race Show. 11th Hour Racing Team have been crowned winners of the 14th edition of the race. It's a culmination of great sailing skill, perseverance, input by the jury, and of course, leg wins. And it's all added up to this moment here, where they're in Genova lifting the Ocean Race Trophy, our 50th anniversary being won by an American team for the first time. But those final 24 hours for all the boats out there on the water were incredibly tense, and our VO65s were finishing as well. So let's wind the clock back, and on that final push into our grand finale, Michael Gregenberg from Austrian Ocean Racing, powered by Team Genova, summed up the mood well.
One more day after today, so everybody's looking forward to the finish. It's still not over, there's still opportunities, so yeah, we just have to keep pushing and stay close to the others, and hopefully we'll have a bit of luck and a good strategy to make it on the podium. So yeah, we keep on pushing, we keep on grinding, and hopefully we manage to pull something off this time.
Hungry!
Exactly.
While the Austrians had plenty of ground to make up, but some time left to try and do it, the top spot was taken, as Wind Whisper Racing Team, having led this leg from the first day, finished 24 hours ahead of the other boats. The Polish boat finished in the style that they had been racing since the start of the competition, out in front and without mistakes, winning the final here in Genova, completed the hat-trick of stage wins, and then going out with a perfect scoreboard in the offshore leaderboard. Pablo Arata, the skipper, was watching from off the boat, giving Daryl Wislang the honour of leadership for the last stage, and he didn't disappoint.
Yeah, amazing feeling, and you know, just so happy to be part of the team. You know, Tan put together a great program, and I was lucky enough to take the handlebars for the last leg. You know, really appreciative, and you know, it's a great result for everyone involved.
I think the crew has done a great job, and I feel so proud. I think we got a really good team, and we all work together towards this, and the team is super happy, and we got our goal, so it's good.
While Wind Whisper Racing Team was ashore celebrating their stage and overall win, overnight on the water, the battle for second place was between Mirpuri Trifort Racing Team, who chose to head offshore, and Viva Mexico and Team Yayo, who banked on the inshore route paying off. The wind proved light everywhere, but for Team Yayo, the closest to the coast, they found just enough to keep moving and went into second place, while the others parked up. As the next day dawned, it was becoming clear that the wind would be light for the next arrivals, and Team Yayo, now in second, were keen to keep moving forward.
It's just going light again now at sunrise, so we're putting back up the masthead 0 and trying to get some more miles on the Mexicans, and it's still all to play for. Super light at the finish, so it's going to be a tight race between 4 boats. It's going to be fun.
Well, so just over here we've got Yayo, which we've affectionately named Yo-Yo, because every time we stretch away from the noise come back, and vice versa. And then just over there we've got the Mexicans, Viva Mexico, who've done very well under Spinnaker in the last few days, which is yeah, it's a little bit frustrating for us because we just sort of bled miles to them quite a lot over the last few days under Spinnaker, and they've just put theirs up. We've obviously got ours up now as well, so we tried to make some sort of adjustments to our Spinnaker, but there's not a lot you can do, so we sort of hoping that that our adjustments are going to come good, and we can sort of hold them off for a little bit, or at least stop the bleed, and then just see what Genoa offers us, because I mean it's quite well known that when you come into Genoa there can be absolutely no wind in there, so it could be another complete shutdown and almost yet another restart, because I mean the three of us are within, it must be 2 miles, you know, if that.
It wasn't just the VO65s that were struggling with the inshore-offshore decision to catch the breeze. In the Imoca class, 12 hours earlier, Team Holcim PRB was leading Bioterm and Team Milizia into the shore, trying to limit the tactical options of the other boats. But the Swiss team could not shut the door quickly enough, and when the wind melted away, the only team making meaningful progress was Team Milizia along the coast and passing both the other boats further out to sea.
This is our conditions again now. We're just slowly sneaking past them. So this is where we've been saving our energy for the last 10 days, just holding back, ready to attack. And yeah, it's going to come down to the line, I think. This Bay of Genova is pretty tricky, pretty unpredictable. We saw the same thing in the Ocean Race Europe 2 years ago, where Rosie and I did our first race together. So yeah, let's see.
Great news for Team Milizia, but for Team Holcim PRB, who have led for almost all this leg, seeing it unravel so close to the finish was heartbreaking.
Well, it's been a tough night here on board. Don't know where to start, but basically we are trying to get closer to Genova. We are at the moment 30 miles to the finish. And the wind is kind of turning in all directions. 20 minutes ago we were in a strong position compared to the others, and they caught a pressure coming from the shore, and they are now sailing at 8 knots for Malizia and 6 for Biotherm, and we are like stuck.
Biotherm was also watching Team Milizia sail around them inshore. In wind, the French team just couldn't catch.
Bon, Gênes c'est là-bas, Malizia ils sont là, ils tirent là-bas, à 9 nœuds, on fait 7 et demi. Et Holcim qui a pas encore la pression de droite, voilà. Ils font un nœud, 2 nœuds. Et il reste combien de milles 33 milles pour arriver à Gênes. Après 12 jours, c'est fou.
Many miles behind, delivering their boat into Genova, 11th Hour Racing team were glued to the tracker, watching the final miles to the finish.
Although we're not in the race, we're definitely interested parties in the result, so I think most of this morning has been spent staring at the tracker. There, or not.
We feel like the rest of the world this morning. Glued to the tracker here, you know, watching the results. In theory, they don't really affect us, but for some reason we can't look away.
In the end, the chances to overtake never came, and our next boat across the line was the VO65 team Yayo, successfully sailing from third into the comfortable second place at the finish line. The first Immoca to cross the finish was Team Milizia, Nico Lundven, the navigator, helping the team by finding the wind when no one else could. Biotherm became more worried about Team Holcim PRB catching them than the miles they had lost to Team Milizia. But Paul Mayer and his crew fought hard to preserve their speed and took second place as the wind faded away. "35 minutes behind Biotherm, Team Holcim PRB took third, clearly gutted to have lost the lead in the final moments and been denied another leg win. With our 3 Immocas finished, it was now the turn of the VO65s. And the next boat up was Viva Mexico. Eric Brockman had a great performance on the final stage here into Genova, and he crossed the line in third place. But behind, the wind had shut down completely. So for Austrian Ocean Racing, powered by Team Genova, currently 4th on the racetrack, they were awarded that position by the race control team, who shortened the course where they were. Mirpuri Trifoot Racing team, who had lost so much in the last 24 hours of the stage, was awarded 5th place and was disappointed to come in behind the others. With 3 stages completed on the overall leaderboard, Viva Mexico had managed to climb up into 4th place after that great performance here in the Italian waters. But the big story was how strong the dominating sailing skill of Wind Whisper Racing Team was. They finished off the Ocean Race VO65 sprint on the top with a clear 18 points. But the IMOCAs were nowhere near as certain as the VO65s. In the battle for the Ocean Race Trophy, even though we had completed all 7 legs of this edition, there was still the question mark as to what would happen after that crash between 11th Hour Racing Team and Guyot Environment Team Europe in The Hague. An international jury was convened and representatives from all the teams were asked to attend, everybody able to give their opinion on what they thought the next steps should be.
So I could not witness.
11th Hour Racing Team was seeking redress, a mechanism that can kick in certain situations in sailing to correct a boat's score if they were unfairly denied the chance of finishing a leg. After deliberating, the international jury decided that the best course of action would be to award compensatory points to 11th Hour Racing Team, calculated by averaging out all their finishing positions in this edition of the race.
Leg 7. 11th Hour Racing is to be scored in leg 7 points for her finishing in a position equal to the average, rounded to the nearest whole number.
It meant that 11th Hour Racing Team were awarded some points, even though they were denied the opportunity to be racing on this final leg. So combined with their leg wins and great sailing throughout this competition, they now sit at the top of the leaderboard and they are crowned the Ocean Race winners of the 14th edition. Charlie Enright and the crew of the American boat lifting the trophy for the 14th edition of the Ocean Race. And with that incredible finish, it brings this edition of the Ocean Race to a close. We wanted to try and find a little bit of a quiet spot. I don't know if you can hear, but upstairs the awards night is getting underway. The band's are rehearsing, all the sailors are getting themselves ready for the big party and the big celebration of the end of the Ocean Race. And this is it. This is our last Ocean Race show. And it's been an incredible honor and a privilege to be hosting that show. But it's not just me. There's an enormous team in Alicante and indeed around the world with editors, script writers, and people coming up with the crazy ideas that you've seen us try to pull off in the show. As well as, of course, the onboard reporters getting us that footage and the sailors themselves for letting us tell their story. And lastly, and probably most importantly, a big thank you to you for watching and for engaging with the show in the way that you have. We really hope that you've enjoyed it. It's been a privilege and an honor to make every single episode. And while this edition of the Ocean Race comes to a close, hopefully we'll see you all soon.